Hey guys, what's cracking? It's Krakenation. I'm coming at you guys today with the next installment of our competitive analysis series for Pokemon Sword and Shield Generation 8. Today we're going to be looking at the new evolution for Farfetch'd. That's right, there's a Generation 1 Pokemon with a new evolution, and that is SIRFETCH'D. And honestly, this thing's a pretty sick evolution. If I had to imagine what like Farfetch'd with this little leek onion thing would evolve into, this is exactly what I would want it to evolve into. So I love what it turned into here. It's kind of like instead of just a little stick, now it's a whole knight. I think that's a really sweet idea. But let's go ahead and take a look at this thing's competitive viability now, alright? So for our typing, we've got a pure fighting type, so it's no longer a flying type. That's pretty notable. It's now a pure fighting. A good typing, maybe a boost. I think regular Farfetch'd was normal flying. So this is probably a better typing than that offensively. Maybe a little worse, maybe around the same defensively. Overall, I would say this is an upgraded typing, albeit I think SIRFETCH'D would have been cool if it had both fighting and flying as stab. That would have been really nice. For its ability, we've got Steadfast, which is going to prevent you from getting flinched. Or is it when, I think actually, let me double check that. Steadfast, you don't get prevented from getting flinched, that's inner focus. Steadfast is when you get flinched, your speed is raised by 1 stage, which is cool. SIRFETCH'D +1 would be cool, but I think more useful is going to be the Scrappy ability, which allows your fighting and normal moves to hit your opponent's ghost type Pokemon. It also makes you immune to the effect of Intimidate. So I think Scrappy is going to be overall the ability you definitely want to be running. It'll help you avoid those Intimidate users and let you hit those ghost types with your fighting moves, and that's really huge for a Pokemon like SIRFETCH'D. So taking a look at these stats, right away what's going to stand out to you is that absolutely terrific physical attack stat. 135 physical attack is really baller. It's got decent, probably around average physical defense, as well as a little below average special defense. For 65 speed, definitely pretty bad, but 95 defense, it's going to allow you to take maybe a hit or two on the physical side, and then 135 attack. Obviously, this thing could become a very effective wall breaker for a lot of teams. Notably, the fact that it also has its signature item. Farfetch'd had that stick that gave it it had it for every generation, that gave it +2 stages of critical attack chances, and so SIRFETCH'D now also has access to a very similar item. Essentially, now it's been rebranded and known as the Leak, and that'll give SIRFETCH'd a +2 critical hit chance, which is terrific because this thing will automatically have a 50% chance to critical hit, and that will make it do 1.5 damage, 1.5 times the damage, as well as attack through boosts. So defense boost, for example, will not matter. And that's pretty crazy. That's going to be pretty powerful. Basically, it's a band boost in that situation with no downside. So that's pretty powerful. And we're going to take a look at some moves, because if it gets up to +1, notably with some of these moves, +1 critical attack from the move, along with this +2 from its item, you're going to critical hit 100% of the time. That's a 50% boost to all of your attacks without needing to do any kind of setup and without being choice locked. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these moves. Close combat. Sorry about that 2 C's. That's going to be probably your best stab move in most situations. Probably going to want to run that over Superpower, for example. But you also have the choice of running Brick Break if you didn't want to do any drops. We'll talk about that later. You've also got good coverage moves like Brave Bird and Knockoff. You've got Leaf Blade and Night Slash to give you those +1 critical hit moves. So notably, if you're running the Leak item, Leaf Blade and Night Slash will critical hit 100% of the time. And that's really cool. Poison Jab is also a really good coverage move to hit those fairy types. You've also got access to priority and quick attack. Swords Dance, Curse, some setup options. Solar Blade is something I included here. I think you'd pretty much always rather run Leaf Blade, but I included Solar Blade if you're running this on a Sun team. That's pretty cool. Steel Wing to hit maybe some fairy types as well, I guess. And then Knockoff is obviously I included twice here because I'm an idiot. But Knockoff is pretty cool for its coverage. It's going to be really useful. I think the question between Knockoff and Night Slash, usually you would always rather run Knockoff. But I think when Night Slash crits 100% of the time instead of 50% of the time, and now 50% crit with Knockoff is really good too. So it's hard to decide. Definitely a difficult decision to make. But Night Slash is going to be a pretty cool option as well if you wanted to always get those critical hits. That would be really, really potentially powerful, especially when you consider the fact that all these physical attacks are coming off of that 135 attack stat. So let's take a look at the first set I've got here, and we're going to talk about that Swords Dance set that I was talking about. We're going to run the Leak item to give you that +2 critical hit chance. This set will critical hit 50% of the time when you click Close Combat on Brave Bird, and that's going to deal massive damage. 252 attack, 252 speed, and Jolly Nature to maximize your offensive potential. Now you could opt to run an Adamant Nature instead and go into max HP, I would say, but I think you want to invest in speed because SIRFETCH'D is unfortunately kind of in this awkward middle range speed tier where you're not really faster than anything, but you still want to run speed because you could have the chance to jump the gun on maybe base 70, 80s that aren't running speed investment. So you kind of want to invest in that speed, and that can be really useful for it. We're going to run Swords Dance, boost that attack to even more sky-high levels. Close combat's going to be your go-to move. Brave Bird will allow really nice coverage. In conjunction with that, it'll let you hit those bug types, hit those grass types a little harder. Other moves you could run are obviously Knockoff is a really good option, but the Night Slash and Leaf Blade are two moves I really wanted to give a notable mention to, because they achieve that 100% crit chance when you're using them with the leak item. Now, other move that you might want to consider is Quick Attack to get some priority. Unfortunately, this Pokemon is no longer a normal type, so Quick Attack is not Stab, so you're going to have to deal with that, but it could be an option if you wanted to. It probably will still hit and be able to revenge something decently at +2 attack. So, and it also obviously has that critical hit chance, so that's going to be a pretty decent option. The next set I've got here for you is Curse. This is going to be a Curse set for SIRFETCH'D. Curse obviously makes use of your decent physical bulk and allows you to hit pretty hard once you get a few of those up, and then you can also boost your physical defense to higher levels. And then we are going to invest in 252 HP, 252 special defense, and a careful nature, and through this we'll be able to invest in our special defense and make us as bulky as possible on that side, alongside our boosted physical defense from the Curse. So Brick Break will be your go-to move. It's nice that you can run Brick Break with Scrappy, because that's going to allow you to hit just about everything. You can hit ghost types now, so the only thing that'll be resistant to you will be things like psychic types, bug types. So, and those aren't obvious. Bug types obviously aren't as big of an issue to you. Now, psychic types will be an issue to this set, and we'll talk about that later. But that's going to be probably your go-to. If you want to run setup and run a slower set, that's going to be your go-to move. Is going to be Brick Break. You don't want to deal with those close combat stat drops, so I would run Brick Break. Looking at some pros and cons for SIRFETCH'D, it is a pretty good Pokemon. I'm going to keep that in perspective. I think it could be maybe an RU type, UU type caliber of Mon. It's got very fearsome power, very good move pool to use with it. So obviously we saw, thanks to that really useful item, thanks to the crit chance, these further augmenting what's already a great attack stat and a great move pool is even made better by the fact that 50% of the time you're going to be critting your opponent at the very least 50% of the time when you're running that item. It's got decent physical bulk and a useful ability in Scrappy that lets it hit those ghost types that it wouldn't otherwise be able to hit with its stab move. Unfortunately, it does have bad speed, mediocre special bulk will leave it vulnerable, and finally limited versatility. It doesn't do a whole lot. It's not a terrific Scarf user. You could run a Scarf SIRFETCH'D. You definitely don't. I don't think you want to run a band SIRFETCH'D because you'd rather just run your leak item. But you could run a Scarf SIRFETCH'D, I suppose. It won't be quite as good, I think. So you're going to be kind of limited in your versatility. Your opponent's going to be able to play. Most of the SIRFETCH'D sets will have very similar counters, which is what I kind of mean by that. You're always going to struggle with the psychic types. You're always going to struggle with XYZ. Like faster psychic types will always destroy you. Something like Azelf, for example, is a Pokemon that you might run into when you're running SIRFETCH'D. Something you need to think about. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that, though, with our team options and big threats. So, SIRFETCH'D cleaners are going to be an issue for you, or a good partner for you, sorry. A good cleaner will be able to pair with SIRFETCH'D's wall breaking ability very nicely. Steel types are really awesome partners for SIRFETCH'D because steel types can take on fairy types, they can take on psychic types, and they can take on bug types all really, really effectively. And those are three things that SIRFETCH'D can't hit that well, first of all. And SIRFETCH'D is also weak to flying type, and steel type additionally can take those on. So it's going to be a really good partner for it. If you're using SIRFETCH'D, you 100% need to pair it with a steel type. Sticky Webs is another good option for SIRFETCH'D. Any Pokemon that is around this speed tier and really hits really, really hard could really make use of Sticky Webs and just use it to attack monstrously. A couple of big threats that are going to be an issue for SIRFETCH'D will be powerful physical walls. Sorry, my dog just shook her little collar there. Physical walls will be an issue because you don't want to run into them that much. Now, that said, this thing is a very powerful wall breaker. So if you only need to break through one physical wall, like this thing could eat maybe one up for breakfast. Also scared of opposing wall breakers and other powerful offensive Pokemon because it is going to get overwhelmed. It has no access to recovery. I checked, it does not get Roost. So you're going to struggle to take on powerful offense from your opponent's side, which is unfortunate because you are also slow and you're probably going to end up taking a lot of hits. Finally, bulky psychics are an issue for you, like I was saying, especially faster bulky psychics. Something like a Cresselia could be an issue, something like an Uxie could be an issue because they will exploit you by clicking psychic, hitting you on that weaker side, doing a lot of damage to you. And your best move will be Knockoff and Night Slash. Now, albeit those are great moves to hit them, but those are some big threats to SIRFETCH'D. for sure. Let me know what you guys thought about this video. SIRFETCH'D has been hotly requested, so I'm excited to finally get this video out. I've actually been kind of impressed doing my research on this Pokemon. I'm like, wow, on paper at least, this Pokemon has a lot going right for it. So I'm happy to make this video for you guys. If you haven't already subscribed, guys, thank you so much for the support. Just by watching this video, our channel has just blown up recently, been absolutely unreal. I'm just so thankful to all of you guys for that. If you want to continue to support this channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button if you have not already. Join our Discord community. It's pretty lit in there for sure. Like, comment, all that stuff, all that good stuff, guys. It is always very appreciated. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Krakenation out.